Hi, this is Lorena. I am just cannot hear any audio, so I'm hoping that you guys can help me out with that.
Hi, Lorena, can you hear us?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, thanks, Beatrice.
Thank you so much. Is there any other person who wants to make any public comment? Para las personas que se unen por primera vez el día de hoy, estamos haciendo un espacio para comentarios públicos. Eso significa cualquier tema que no esté en la agenda. Si ustedes quieren proveer un comentario, por favor, nada más levanten la mano. Seeing that we don't have any hands raised and that we don't have any comments on the Zoom meeting, we're going to continue with the next item. Now we're going to go with the project status reports. In this space, each partner will provide an update, financial and grant expenditures up to date for each of the projects, and this will be shared with the committee and the public. For grantee, which is the city of Richmond, Matias, Eduardo, and myself, the work that we completed since last meeting, we continued coordination with the Metropolitan Transportation Commission for Regional Measure 3 grant. That is a $10 million grant for neighborhood complete streets and Richmond Wellness Trail Phase 2. We got invoice number 11 approved by the Strategic Growth Council, and we received comments from the Strategic Growth Council invoice number 12 and requested information to partners. So we really appreciate your help providing all the information that was requested so we can get the reimbursement for that invoice. We continued meeting with partners to discuss amendments and modifications. Matias and Eduardo met with all the partners who want to make changes in their workbooks, and this will be concluded in the next couple of weeks. We attended and tabled at the Soul Festival event on Saturday, the 27th of September, and we met with Grid Alternatives team to coordinate a second annual solar training that is happening soon. Ambessa and team will let you know more about it. Total expenditures reported to date, $393,000. Remaining budget, $300,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. We're wrapping up the discussions with partners in relations to amendments and modifications, and we're setting up a final date for the TCC Richmond Rising City Council presentation. We'll keep you posted. In relationship to Neighborhood Complete Streets project, the consultant team completed the 100% revised design and estimate. This means they finalized the plans. We also finalized the Complete Streets Metropolitan Transportation Commission checklist for the Regional Measure 3. This is a format that we had to fill in for the Metropolitan Transportation Commission to be able to provide the money for the grant. And we are also coordinating and contracting with city staff to secure additional awarded grant funding. We continue the coordination with city departments, AC Transit, and partner organizations on project design and approvals. Total expenditure up to date, $103,000. Budget remaining, $5 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Consultants will provide adjustments to plans, and we will submit City Council staff report to execute RM3 grant. I gonna share the microphone with sorry. Let me give you the microphone so you can be heard in the
Okay. Did I miss something, or did we skip over the approval of the previous minutes?
You're totally right. I missed that step. Can I go back after this report? Thank you. I did miss it. Thank you, Curtis. I am gonna present on Richmond Wellness Trail Phase 2 because we don't have Trust for Public Land team. So the work completed since last meeting, additional permit set review and design discussion with City Richmond departments. We met with the fire department to review the final plans. We are adding an engineering study to review the queuing vehicles on the railroad tracks. This is on Marina Way South. Next to the schools. And so we're analyzing how to reduce the amount of parents that queue in that area so that it's not a risk for them to be trapped in the railroads that we have in there. So we're doing a secondary diagnostic meetings with railroad entities. We added design discussions, and we are coordinating and contracting work with city staff to secure the additional awarded grant funding that I mentioned before. We are also continuing coordination with city departments, AC Transit, and partner organizations on project design and approvals. Total expenditure up to date, $330,000. Remaining budget, $4.4 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Budget reallocations and coordination contracting work to secure additional awarded federal grant funds, and continued project design and coordination with city departments, NC Transit, and the railroads companies. I'm going to share the microphone with Mayeli. Oh, with Montserrat. Okay. With Montserrat for the report on the e-bike lending library. Thank you, Montse.
Hello all, my name is Montse. For the e-bike lending library, we're completed since the last meeting. We actively participated in the Urban Tilt Roller Disco event, representing and promoting our work. We connected with city council members, prepared and delivered the Rich City Rides presentation for the city council meeting. We also had advanced progress on updating and refining the current project budget to ensure accuracy and alignments with goals. Total expenditures report to date, 261,000, and remaining budget is about 2.2 million. Plan work in the next 2 weeks, present the project at the city council meeting, and request support to address the funding deficit. We'll also submit the MTC Care PV plus E application, continue pursuing additional funding opportunities, maintaining ongoing outreach efforts, and present at the Coronado neighborhood meeting. Thank you.
Hi, yes, reporting for Resilient Homes. The work that we completed this last meeting was planning and meeting for the November 12th workshop at City Council Chambers with the City of Richmond. Planning December 10th workshop right here at Nevin Center. We hired a new TCC intern, Katerina Segura, and we are doing digital media outreach planning for 2026. Total expenditures to date, $966,431. Remaining budget, $6,264,000. Planned work for the next 2 weeks. Onboarding our fellow, continued planning for our fall workshops, and finalizing 2026 outreach program planning.
Hi again, Shaneway Fields reporting for Urban Tilth. This is the Basins of Relations project. Work completed since last meeting, hired 10 apprentices for our 2025 Basins of Relations Watershed Restoration Training Program. Training began on September 2nd and will continue through December. Installed 2 drip irrigation systems for project area homeowners. Total expenditures to date, $352,000. Remaining budget, about 1.2 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Ongoing implementation of classes, field work days, and field trips for Basins of Relations training program. And first water catchment system installation plus 2 drip irrigation system installations are planned. Who's next? Oh.
Hey, Lorena, you should be able to talk.
Yes, hi. Thank you, everyone. Lorena Castillo with Groundwork Richmond. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but thank you for allowing me the time to share my updates. We have planted 9 residential street trees in the project area. We have hosted a coastal cleanup at Lucretia Edwards Park, which is part of the Wellness Trail Phase 2 location. We had 25 volunteers, and we collected over 200 pounds of trash. So we were really excited about that. Our cohort number 4 of workforce development started today, and we hired 11 participants for that program. And we are getting ready for our Arbor Day celebration on Saturday, October the 18th, which will be on the Greenway. We will be planting 29 new trees along the greenways, and we need volunteers and any partners that would like to table or participate in this event. We invite and welcome you all. We have information about that on our website, on our social media platforms, the city website as well. Or you can contact me directly if you have any questions about Arbor Day. We total expenditures to date, $246,000 roughly, and we have about $800,000 remaining. Planned for the next 2 weeks is we are coordinating a non-residential tree planting on 7th Street and Barrett at Stewart Playlot, and that is in partnership with the city's park department. We are also coordinating our end of the year community events, which I can't believe it's already the end of the year, but here we are. And we're talking about how to end the year strong and celebrate with our community. And of course, we're working on our invoice and reporting that is due October 11th. Thank you.
Okay, Urban Tilth's universally accessible community garden. This is on the Richmond Greenway. Work completed since last meeting. Plan review and permitting status. Resubmitting plans for review by last Friday, 9/26. Permit is to be issued in about 4 weeks. Getting construction cost estimates based on plans for the next month. Project manager is set to meet with the county in regards to the CBDG funding. Total expenditures reported to date, $110,000. Remaining budget, about $844,000. Plan to work in the next 2 weeks. Receive permits for the project. Request bids as soon as plans are approved. And start construction in November. Super exciting. Orchard for All project, work completed since last meeting. 41 fruit trees distributed at local free farm stands in the project area. That was 20 trees in Lucas Park and 21 at Unity Park. The team serviced 50 trees and they harvested or gleaned about 500 pounds of produce from the trees. Serviced 6 homes in the project area. Total expenditures to date, about $235,000. Remaining budget, $932,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Continue giving away trees at the local farm stands, which is Lucas Park and Unity Park. And by the way, those are both on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Service 60 trees, harvest 300 pounds, and service 15 homes in the project area. They are a busy team. And finally, Veggie RX. Work completed since last meeting. Hosted veggie giveaway and tabling at the annual Put the Guns Down event on September 6th in Nevin Park. Hosted climate friendly diet workshop with Atchison Community Council on September 25th at Atchison Village Community Center. Total expenditures reported to date, $916,000. Remaining budget, about $2.3 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Table at Atchison Village Community Day on October 4th, and that's going to be at the Atchison Village Community Center. Develop updated climate-friendly diet kids curriculum. How cute. Plan for a climate-friendly diet workshop on October 28th at Achieve after school program, which is here at Nevin Community Center, and update climate-friendly diet recipe book with year 2 recipes. By the way, if you have any recipes like passed down by your family members or whatever, please share them with us. You can email veggierx@urbantilth.org. We'd love to include them in the book. Back to you. Trick you.
Thanks, everyone. In relationship to the e-bike share system, the work completed since last meeting is just continued outreach on the project area, continued maintenance on existing bike hubs, reach out to today to get documents to be submitted to the state for reimbursement. And the city of Richmond requested an uploaded information tracking plan. I think this was left from last presentation. Apologies about that. And we're planning to receive information from today to be submitted to the state in the next couple of weeks. Total expenditure reported up to date $526,000. Remaining budget $472,000. For people who have any questions about the e-bike share system, we have Salma, who's the project manager of today here. If you have any specific questions, please reach out to her. For the community engagement plan in relationship to the city of Richmond, we attended and tabled at the Soul Festival event at on Saturday, September 27th. And I am going to pass the microphone to Rich City Rights for the Youth Fellows updates. Miki, are you doing that? Thank you.
For the Richmond Rising Youth Fellows, we participated in the community bike ride on September 6th, the MLK Park cleanup on September 8th, All Stars Project public speaking workshop on September 23rd, roller coaster party on September 27th. The Richmond Rising Youth Fellow program is finalizing the details for the Halloween ride happening on October 25th. Partners may now submit their request to have a youth fellow assist with outreach efforts for your TCC projects. Please submit your request at least 2 weeks in advance of the date you will be needing them. Eduardo sent out an email with the form. If you have any questions, reach out to Gabriela or Malia from Rich City Rights. Total expenditures reported to date is around $400,000. Remaining budget is around $2 million. Plan worked in the next 2 weeks include youth fellows going to assist with content for the Richmond Rising website and helping with the Clean Air Day event at Lucas Park on October 4th.
In relationship to the displacement avoidance plan, on the ADU toolkit, that toolkit has been finalized and can be accessed on the city's website. I included the link on our presentation, and a workshop was hosted last September the 3rd after our CSC meeting. In relationship to the Buy Local campaign, the city is finalizing admin work to launch in October. They're in the process of insurance review, which has been really complicated for all the partners who are here. You have gone through this process of dealing with insurance and the risk management that the city is doing. So it's been a challenging process, but they are hoping to start the launch in October 2025. For facade improvement pilot program, they finalized the admin work and they're ready to launch in October 2025. That's for sure. They're finalized the insurance process, so they're ready to go. And so we will be seeing engagement opportunities for improving facade through this pilot program for businesses in the project area. So if you know anyone who's interested in this, who would be willing to get a grant from the city to improve their facade, please let us know and let them know that this is going to be launching. Total expenditures reported to date, $159,000. Remaining budget, $522,000. And planned work in the next 2 weeks is implement the outreach to launch Buy Local campaign and facade improvement pilot program. So we would definitely be reaching out to the youth fellows. Gabby, thanks for putting that on your updates. We will definitely be reaching out for this specific projects. I'm going to pass the microphone to the UC Berkeley team. Thanks, Alice.
Hi, everyone. Since our last meeting, the team has continued working on our annual report for the second year of TCC. We worked on updating all object models and indicator tables, and we are excited to have scheduled interviews with youth fellows. Total expenditures reported today is $523,000, and then remaining budget is $546,000. Planned work in the next 2 weeks will be interviewing our youth fellows, and we'll begin drafting a case study to highlight their stories. We're very excited. And then we'll continue working on the annual report like layout and submit invoice number 13.
Thank you. I'm Alex. I'm the workforce manager for Grid Alternatives, so I will speak to those pieces of the workforce development and economic opportunity plan. A nice short name. So Grid Alternatives has attended the 2025 Bay Area Construction Workforce Conference that was in the beginning of September. and had over 300 participants, I think. And we also attended yesterday the San Pablo Careers in the Trades demo day to explore potential partnerships and collaboration with other peer apprenticeship programs and union trade groups. We also hosted for a visit at our training facility staff from Youth Build and Richmond Build last Friday and Tradeswoman Inc. yesterday to talk about potential collaborations or workshops we might do with people going through those programs to recruit them into our programs or vice versa. And then we're also working on contract amendments right now. I still need to send those. Sorry, Beatrice. And then in the next 2 weeks, we have planned mostly working on invoicing and then following up with a lot of contacts from the partners that we're talking to right now. And I'll pass it to Beatrice for the Richmond pieces.
Thank you, Alex. In relationship to the city side, on the next 2 weeks, we're planning to finalize RFP selection proposal for the implementation of a workforce development, and we will start contract execution with the selected vendor. That's basically what we're doing in the next couple of weeks. So I am gonna continue with any questions in relationship to the status reports that we had from the committee. Are there any questions or follow-ups related to what people presented on? Oh, yeah.
Mickey mentioned during the update for all of the partners, Eduardo did send out an email with a form where you're able to request youth fellows for whatever outreach needs you have in relation to your TCC project in particular. So when you go in the form, it will ask you kind of the date that you will need them, how many youth fellows. It will also give you specific tasks that the youth fellows are able to do. So you'll be able to see the list of what they're able to help you with. And then myself or Malia will follow up with you. Through email to connect to get further details. All I ask is that you submit your request at least 2 weeks in advance. That gives us some time to prepare, follow up with the youth fellows to see who might be available to assist you. I am going to be sending out another form that you're able to submit. So whenever the youth fellows are working any events or anything like that, I always invite you guys to send over any flyers or any outreach material that you want them to share at these community events. So I'm going to be sending out another form where you're able to submit your flyers or any content that you need shared. And then lastly, I do want to invite all of you to the Halloween ride that the Youth Fellows are hosting on October 25th. All of our flyers are right here. There's some in English and in Spanish, but it has all of the information about our Halloween ride, which is on October 25th. The day prior, on October 24th, we have a bike decorating session at our Rich City Rides bike shop. So it's free. We will provide all of the decorations. You're able to bring your bike in, decorate it, and have it ready for the following day, which will be our Halloween ride. If you have any questions about the Halloween ride, you can definitely reach out to myself. You can reach out to Malia. Malia is the one that's going to be coordinating our community rides moving forward for our Youth Fellow program. So definitely connect with her if you have any questions or want to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabi. And for everyone who's here who needs support with engagement, just remember that we have amazing youth from the project area who are also excited to, get training from you and know about the events that you're hosting. So let's make the most of their experience so that they can have a good time also working with us. So yeah, keep that in mind when you fill out those forms. So it's not, don't put them to do boring things. Make it exciting for them. Okay, are there any other questions or follow-ups to the presentations that we had on the reports, the status reports? I don't see any hands from the committee. Are there any questions from the public or from anyone else joining us today? I don't see any hands raised. We don't have any hands raised on the Zoom meeting either. So I'm gonna continue on. Now I'm going to go back to Curtis' point. Thank you, Curtis, for bringing this up. I want to see if we can go back to the review and approve of the previous meeting minutes. So you received our meeting minutes 10 days ago, together with the agenda and the presentations that we usually use for the status report. Do you have any comments? If there are no comments, can we get a motion? I don't see any comments, so we have there's a motion to approve the minutes from Ambessa. Thank you, Curtis. We appreciate your help. Okay, so can we raise our hands if you approve this motion? Okay. We have everyone raising their hand, everyone who's present in the meeting today. So motion gets approved to approve all the minutes, meeting minutes from the last meeting. So now we're gonna go to committee business items for discussion. We have 4 items. We have grid promotional video release. We have displacement avoidance plan updates for residential rental inspection program. We have the Lucas Park activation presentation, and we have a presentation by Eduardo that is going to be related to low-income transportation options. This is a request that we had from community members, putting out all the options that are available in Richmond for community members who would like to access them. So I have the video here for Grid, but I don't know if you guys want to do any presentation before we play it.
Thank you so much. Well, the video that you all are about to see, it's a promotional video for Grid's TCC services, both solar installation and workforce development, or particularly our IBT installation basics training program. This video was, while Alex and I pretty much were supervisors of it, our fellows were the ones that pretty much drove it and the like. It was done right around the block.
It's on Bissell Ave, so I actually drive by it every time I come here, which is really fun.
And yeah, without further ado, let me show you the video. Thank you so much. Brought to you by TCC funds, of course. Thank you.
Word that comes to my mind is the future. It's the technology of the future. It's been around for quite some time now, and we've been able to see it improve. And prior to joining this program, I wouldn't have been able to say much just because I didn't know how it worked, but I also wouldn't have been able to tell you how quite simple it is to install. And so it's good that it's simple because we can potentially put it on so many other people's roofs because it's going to better the planet, hopefully, in the long run. When I hear the word solar, the first because it's going to better the planet, hopefully, in the long run.
The TCC program stands for Transformative Climate Communities, and it is through this grant that the City of Richmond received in 2022. It provides the City of Richmond with these grant funds that essentially allow them to complete different projects that help to benefit the community from an environmental and a health standpoint, as well as an economic one as well. These different projects include electrification upgrades, upgrading streets, planting trees, all sorts of other projects that kind of work to get the community involved through this funding source. Grid Alternatives installs solar at no cost through state-funded programs for income-qualified homeowners throughout the Bay Area and California more broadly. In addition, we have a workforce development program that trains individuals to learn how to install these solar systems.
So on today's job site, when we first got here, some of us helped work on hanging a combiner box, while others of us got the modules staged at the back of the house. And then we climbed up 2 stories, hooked into the transition line, and worked together to get the mods to the roof.
My name is Javier Nazario Santiago.
And my name is Loretta Nazario.
In 2021, I retired permanently, but we moved in here in 2012 and sold the house in Elk Grove. I received calls from Grid, Rachel, who started talking about, the solar program. I decided to listen, and we invited her over, made an appointment. She came over, we sat down, and she discussed with us the program.
I was like, honey, that's a scam. You know that's a scam. You know it, honey, come on. And the girls came. They came as a team, and they came so informed. And I was like, they're telling the truth. It turns out that they were on the up and up, and here we are.
Having the 2 weeks before coming out here on site was perfect because you had a chance to actually experience it before even coming out here. So we was communicating to each other, really just practicing how we're gonna work. So it was like, once we got out here, it was like, okay, this is the same thing. It helped out a lot because I was able to I remember doing this. And then even if I didn't, I was still able to ask and get the clarifying answers that I need. So it was great.
Their team was talking to everybody. I mean, people who walked by, they were very courteous too. It was like, wow, this is amazing. Because people, they're saying, what are they doing? And they were actually like, look, we're from Grid, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is, and they were happy about it. They were happy to share what they offered.
The best, most promising thing I can look at is lowering my energy bill. For me, that's tops.
Whether you want to be an electrician, whether you want to work in solar, weatherization, there's so many different lanes opening up in renewable energy right now, and I feel like IBT prepares you for a lot of those at once. I think it's incredibly valuable to just have the knowledge of what's happening in the future and where our energy transition is headed. This program is coming into the Bay Area at the perfect time as the industry expands and as there's a need for new people in the industry. And I'm excited to see the industry grow more because of IBT 200 being in the Bay Area now.
So thank you so much for watching it as the credits roll out. Our IBT training program is continuing. Again, we have cohorts starting in 2026 and the like. And as you can see, this just showcases the work that Grid Alternatives does, representing the community, working within the community, and with people from the community as much to uplift through the TCC program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Grid Alternatives team. That was fantastic. We already have that in our videos. Arthur, do you wanna, are you sure? This was your time to shine. You guys can talk about it. It's a fantastic video. Thank you for sharing it, and thanks for providing it to us so we can post it everywhere. We're gonna continue with the presentations, and I'm gonna go with the next staff member from the city. We have Kimene. They're presenting on the Richmond Residential Rental Inspection Program updates. 2 meetings ago, we had community members asking our community development director about this topic. So we are gonna give you some updates in relationship to the work that our housing fellow is working on. Kimene, do you wanna come here? Do you wanna present from there? What do you prefer? I'm happy to move your slides. No, okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kamene Ogidi. I am a Partnership for the Bay's Future Fellow, and I'm working with the City of Richmond, Movement Legal, and ACE, which is a housing organizing, movement building organization throughout the state of California on improving and implementing the Richmond Residential Rental Inspection Program. Lots of words. RRIP is how we typically refer to it. So the Richmond Residential Rental Inspection Program was created in 2005 and started inspections in 2007. And really, it draws on state standards for basic habitability. So what are the basic essential standards for health and safety that make a home suitable to live in? And the program inspects units once every 3 years, but how those inspections have been done has changed over time. So the updates to the program occurred early this year in January, but before that, there's been like 17 years of this program. So before the updates, which are really important, the program, only 20% of the units owned by building owners. So a landlord would be inspected by the city, which means the remaining 80% of rental units would be self-certified. So, so if you have a building with, if you have a landlord, they only own one building, there are 10 units in that building, 2 of those units would be inspected by the city to make sure that they meet minimum standards for habitability. But then 8 of those units would be self-certified, meaning the landlord would say, you know, I went and I looked and I'm pretty sure it meets those standards. And so you could imagine there could be some issues with that. So that's what used to be the case. There was just a sample of units that would be inspected. Now, and also more units used to be exempted from the program. So before the updates, there were more units that just were not covered by the inspections, and they were not even a sample of them would be inspected. So certain types of affordable housing, Section 8 housing, accessory dwelling units, so you know, grandma units in a backyard, mobile home parks, vacant units, transient housing, buildings occupied by the owner or a relative of the owner. And then also only the owner would be notified of the inspection. So the inspection notices come in the mail, and previously only the owner would receive this notice, and then their job was to then work with tenants to make sure that the tenant was aware. Next slide. So through the work of quite a bit of a community organizing over years and years with community organizations like ACE, they pointed out the issues with the original system, many ways in which it wasn't working. Many units were overlooked and poor housing quality persisted and actually still persists. So like I was saying before, only 20% of the units were inspected by the city, and now 100% of the units that are covered by the program will be inspected over the next 3 years. Because once again, the program inspects units once every 3 years in 3-year cycles. So landlords and tenants can expect for their units to be inspected at least once in the next 3 years by someone affiliated with the city or a city inspector. Now the units occupied, and also the units occupied by folks with Section 8 vouchers are still exempt from the program, but that's because the federal government has their own regular inspection process. And then there were certain types of affordable housing that were not inspected by the program, but now they are. And the city also, so some of this was just like how the program is run. And now there are also new pieces to the program that are just entirely new. So one of which is that the city will create a tenant habitability plan process. Tenant habitability plan, the city of LA has it. It's a really important way to protect tenants while repairs are being done in their home. And I will talk about that a little bit later. Tenants also now will receive the inspection notices in the mail. This is really important just because tenants in general should be empowered to know what's going on in their home and shouldn't necessarily have to depend on landlords that may not be communicating with them sufficiently. So now when the notices come out, in 3 weeks, in 6 weeks from now, a month from now, you're getting your inspection, that goes out to the tenant and the landlord. So if you're living in a rental house and rental unit in Richmond, you should be receiving something in the mail sometime in the next 3 years. The city will also initiate efforts to decarbonize rental units. There's a lot about the rental inspection process that lends itself to advancing decarbonization efforts, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as well. And something that's really important that isn't on here and is a really important part of my role is to help the city explore opportunities for bringing the program in-house. Currently, the inspections are done by contractors, and it is also administered with the support of contractors. And so through a lot of community organizing, I think a lot of community sees that the program would better serve Richmond tenants if it is managed by the city, if the inspectors are from the city. And so right now the city of Richmond is exploring how feasible the feasibility of having an in-house program and what exactly it would take to have a program be run in-house by the city. So the tenant habitability plan process, I'm just curious, has anyone heard of a tenant habitability plan? It's kind of wonky. It's not very common, but the idea is kind of common. More specifically, so for certain repairs that impact basic health and safety standards, for example, if work in an apartment unit will take longer than 8, like the work will have to last into the nighttime, the tenant can't really live there, right? If there are workers in the home past like 8, 9 p.m., or if the water needs to be shut off for multiple days, you need to have a plan for how to ensure that the tenant has somewhere to live that is safe and healthy. So the tenant habitability plan is a city process that would require landlords to consider if and how repairs would impact their tenants. And based on the repair being done, a landlord might be required to produce a tenant habitability plan, and they would be required to share this plan with the tenants. And a permit would not be issued for completion of the work until the tenant habitability plan process has been followed through. So the landlord would create a tenant habitability plan, share it with the tenant, and then the tenant has the ability to appeal, to say, you know, this doesn't seem sufficient for me. There are some problems here. You want to relocate me to a unit that you have that's a 45-minute drive away. That's really too far. Do you have a unit that's closer? So this process is unique in that it empowers the tenant to have a say in what happens to them and have a say in determining what they consider to be reasonable and sufficient in making sure that they have a safe and healthy place to stay while repairs are being done. Thank you. And there, as I was saying, like the inspection process lends itself to quite a bit. And one of the many ways in which in the inspection process can benefit tenants and residents and tenants and landlords is that it can lead to more energy efficient to just a more energy efficient homes. One of the changes in the program is that the city is now using the inspection process to share information with landlords and with tenants about opportunities to mostly to access to programs and opportunities to reduce energy use and to decarbonize their units. So landlords would be receiving information on programs that provide incentives, mostly cashback programs for installing certain installing certain equipment, replacing appliances, and I mean there are programs that have like quite a long list of what it is that they're willing to provide incentives for and provide cash back for that are related to energy savings and decarbonization. And then there are also programs for tenants that improve the energy savings in a home simply by providing information about what it is in your home that is impacting your energy use. A lot of folks don't necessarily know what in their home is causing their energy bills to be higher than usual. Some of those things, it's an easier fix than others, but it's really helpful to know what those things are. And some of these programs also provide lower cost free retrofits and upgrades to help with energy savings. And I think a significant part of this, the recruiting the residential rental inspection program for energy efficiency savings is partially because the program already works like that. And this is just an opportunity to for an additional emphasis on decarbonization in the way that residential rental inspections already lend themselves to like energy efficiency. So decarbonization, just reducing the use of carbon-based sources for fuel and energy that we use to power our appliances, heating, cooling systems, vehicles. The residential rental inspection program already addresses issues and inspect systems that have to do with energy use. So if there's a hole in the roof or there's a hole in the wall or there's a significant leak, then you have an issue with your housing envelope, which means that you're unable to regulate temperatures indoors, which means you're spending more on heating or cooling, and that is like an energy use issue. And so with this additional emphasis on decarbonization, the city would be sharing information with tenants where they can learn about opportunities for reducing energy use and learn about, oh, there is a leak here because you're having a program that sends someone to your home for free to do an assessment and give you some sense of power and so that you can make decisions about how to make changes in your home to reduce your energy bills. And then also with the landlords, they're receiving this information on programs that provide cash back. And this is ultimately for the benefit of tenants and landlords when you're when you're doing inspections where you're fixing leaks, you're closing holes, you're replacing appliances that don't work, you're replacing a heating system that doesn't work, you might as well use something that is more energy efficient. For example, a common inspection violation issue is that like windows that don't close. So like a window that'll be partially open. That's just very easily a housing envelope issue. So at that point, you're not only addressing a habitability issue, but you're also addressing a energy efficiency issue. Okay, I think the next slide. So some of the common inspection violations are really simple and can be things that can be addressed very easily before the inspection. So if you receive an inspection notice in the mail, or I guess when you do, smoke detectors that are inoperable. That's something where sometimes the battery is dead or someone takes it down because it's too sensitive and it's disruptive. It's ultimately for safety. Fire safety, the safety of everyone in the home, and it is required by state law to be operable and on. And so that's something that's pretty common, are that smoke detectors are inoperable. Emergency exits like windows and doors are often blocked by belongings, furniture, bed headboard, whatever it is. We need to be able to have certain windows open so that you can, for egress, so you can leave in case of emergency, and certain doors open for that purpose. And it might seem minor, but that's absolutely essential. And that's something that the inspectors will be looking for. And that is a common violation. Non-working electrical outlets and outlets with covers missing. Once again, maybe it doesn't seem like such a big deal, an outlet doesn't work, but others do. It's really important that they do work, and it's really important that they're covered and that nothing is exposed. That's unsafe for folks living in the house. And then more severe inspection violations can look like plumbing and sewage issues, which often, and leaks, just even small leaks can lead to mold. Mold is very complicated in the world of rental inspections, but ultimately it's something that impacts indoor air quality and our health, regardless of what kind of mold that it is. So if you're having any kind of issue with mold, sewage, anything that you feel threatens your health and safety, at any time, you can call the Residential Rental Inspection Program phone number, which is at the end of this presentation, or send an email and request a inspection. So you don't necessarily have to wait for your turn to get inspected. You can call and request an inspection. And the city of Richmond does have ordinances that protects tenants from retaliation in that case. And then what to expect moving forward. So tenants will be receiving notices of upcoming inspections. So sometime in the next 3 years, you can expect that. The city is sharing new changes with tenants and landlords, and that's something we're just starting to do now. That's why I'm here. I've presented to a couple other organizations. So if you belong to an organization or a group where you're engaging with, or you are just a group of tenants or just residents that live in Richmond, and you would like to learn more about this or think that your neighbors need to learn more about this, feel free to reach out to me or just email the program and it'll get to me saying that you would like a presentation. I think some of the parties represented here I've reached out to because it is really important that folks know that this program is expanding significantly to improve housing quality across the city, which is a significant issue and also a significant opportunity. The tenant habitability plan process will be shared with tenants and landlords as it's developed. We're in the process now of kind of figuring out what pieces of the tenant habitability plan already exist within the city and what pieces need to be created and how to implement it seamlessly with some newer city systems. So information flyers on energy savings programs are also coming soon. And with the inspection notices, that's currently the primary way that we're delivering this information is when you get your inspection notice in the mail letting you know an inspection is coming in the next month or 6 weeks, you'll also have a flyer in there letting you know about programs if you're a landlord, letting you know about opportunities for to lower your utility bills, to receive discounts if you're a tenant, and for free energy home assessments. And that will be coming through the inspection notice process. And then we're also developing guidelines to help tenants and landlords identify opportunities in units to decarbonize, to save on energy, to reduce indoor air pollutants. And these guidelines they're in development now, but once we conclude them, we'll be sharing again out to folks. And we'll probably be engaging people to learn about the best way to get the guidelines out there so that folks are empowered to make those decisions for themselves and advocate with the landlords about the changes they would like to see. And at the end there, you have the contact information for the program, which is Richmond rrip@ci.richmond.ca.us, and the phone number. And I see that like everyone has a packet, so it's in there. Are there any questions? That was a lot of talking. Yes.
Si estoy entendiendo, este programa todavía no se está haciendo.
She's asking if this program is already operating.
¿Cuándo se comenzaría a hacer entonces?
The program has been operating for 18 years. The basic changes to the program, like every single unit that is covered being inspected, that's happening now. That started when the program was updated in January. But we're also completing an inspection cycle, which means the last 3 years of inspections, which was based on inspecting just a sample of units, is coming to a close. A new inspection cycle is just beginning. And in this new inspection cycle, which lasts 3 years, every covered rental units will be inspected. So it's active, but for example, your unit could be inspected 2 years from now in this 3-year cycle.
Bueno, yo sé que estas inspecciones se hacen y también he escuchado por personas de la comunidad, bueno, personas que yo conozco, que les dicen que van a ir a hacer una inspección. La cuestión es que cuando se supone que llega el inspector, nunca entran adentro de la propiedad. Solo ven desde afuera y la inspección en realidad, creo que una inspección tiene que ser mayormente adentro de la propiedad que solo afuera. Ese es mi problema para mí. Realmente siento que las inspecciones que están haciéndose hasta ahora no son nada buenas.
The main comment that Tomasa made was what she has heard from all the neighbors that had received visits from inspections is that they actually do not get inside the property, that they do the inspection from the outside, which actually creates a lot of issues because there's no capacity to see what's going on inside of the property. And so she thinks that's not a good way of doing it. And she's just asking if there's going to be changes in relationship to that.
Thank you for sharing that. That is something that I've heard. That is not how the inspections are meant to occur. An inspector is meant to come into the home, walk through every room, every bathroom, every shared space, and they have a list of things that they have to review for every space in the home. So this is an example of one of the ways in which the program has not been working and is also something that community organizers have been communicating about in advocating for the program to be managed by the city rather than to be implemented by inspectors that are contractors.
Escuché que estás diciendo que una de las maneras que van a hacer es educar a la comunidad, pero ¿cómo lo van a hacer? Porque en realidad el mayor problema de que la comunidad siempre tiene problemas es porque no se educa y no sabemos cómo llegar. El punto casi en todas las cosas es que cómo llegar realmente a la gente que necesita esa información. ¿Cómo lo van a hacer ustedes?
Tomas is asking that you mentioned you were going to do educational work. She just wants to know how you're going to get to the exact community that needs to have this information. How are you going to target renters that need to have this information?
That's a great question. I think that that's one of the reasons why I'm here. That's one of the reasons why I'm reaching out to organizations that work not only with tenants, but work with workers, work with parents, work with people who aren't necessarily part of organizations, but receive services in certain places. So I'm talking to affordable housing organizations where they have buildings that they manage and they property manage, and speaking with them and sharing information with them. There are a number of avenues that I'm exploring, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to get to everyone who needs to know about this. And that's part of why I'm here, to learn also from the people that are here, who do I need to be speaking with to make sure that I'm reaching the right people. I will say again that ACE, which is a movement building organization focused on housing, is one of the partners. So I'm working very closely with them. One of the things that we're going to be starting later in October are house meetings, where ACE members will be hosting house meetings, working on getting turnout from their neighbors to learn about this and other campaigns that ACE has that are at the intersection of housing and decarbonization. But I'm available and I would love to learn about wherever you think that I need to be.
Thank you both. Are there any other questions for Kamene? Any other follow-up comments from committee or members of the public? Yeah. Haley.
With the decarbonization process, is there any emphasis on gas appliances? Because that's a huge source of indoor air pollution and I don't see it explicitly listed.
Thanks for asking that question. Yeah, the slides are just kind of an overview. So one of the things that we're going to be sending out the inspection notices will be highlighting programs that that list out very explicitly what it is that they do provide, like cashback incentives for. And so definitely gas stoves are included. There are incentives for replacing them with electric stoves. But that would be something where it's like the tenant would have to advocate with their landlord, or the landlord would need to make that purchase and go after those incentives. But that's certainly something that is highlighted in the program, and the inspectors, there are many plans about how to make sure that decarbonization is baked into the inspection process. And one of the ideas is also to have the inspectors communicate while they're doing the inspections, communicate with whoever's present about opportunities to replace appliances or heating and cooling systems, anything like that.
Do we have any other questions? I don't see any online. Any other comments? I don't see any hands raised, so we're going to continue with the next item. Thank you so much, Kamene, for the information. We have Rashida Foster and Steph Solis from Urban Till, who are going to share with us some of the activation that is happening in Lucas Park. So I'm going to share the microphone with them. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us. As Beatrice mentioned, I'm Steph, and this is Rashida. We are the Lucas Park Community Engagement Co-Managers. And we're going to share a little bit about the work we've been doing at Lucas Park since April. We partnered with Rich City Rides, Moving Forward, in recent months, Maria Fitness, San Pablo Baseball Association, and ACCYSL, Richmond United, and East Shore Alliance to bring weekly programming to Lucas Park. So in those first pictures that you see there are pictures of the community bike rides, bike repair clinics, all hosted by Rich City Rides. In the following pictures, you'll see the basketball clinics and cleanups led by Moving Forward that have been hosted once or twice a month on weekends. And Zumba there for Maria Fitness started in September every Wednesday and Thursday from 4:30 to 5:30. And then a few pictures from the community bike and hikes hosted by Rich City Rides and Moving Forward. And at the end, you have the weekly soccer and baseball for youth. Pee Wee Soccer has been hosted by Richmond United, East Shore Alliance every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7. And we have San Pablo Baseball Association hosting baseball every Wednesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. And this is our last month in October until next year. So I invite you guys all to come participate. We will have a wrap-up event November 8th, and where we invite you all to come if you'd like to table, share information. And I'm going to pass this on to Rashida to share a little bit about surveys and stats that we've taken in the community.
Hello, everyone. She said I'm Rashida Foster, and I have a question for everybody. Did everybody know where Lucas Park is? Does anybody know where Lucas Park is? Everybody familiar with it? It used to be called 10th Street Park, so just wanted to give that out. But for surveys and statistics and community needs, so we've been conducting surveys at some of these events or programming, and we've conducted about 65 surveys. We need to get about 150, if possible, by November to begin shaping the Lucas Park master plan design. That's the redevelopment. The survey questions and the information is we have the demographics, that's where you're from or what part of the area you're from. How often you visit Lucas Park? Is it weekly, daily, monthly, first time? What activities do you typically enjoy at Lucas Park if you've been involved in any of the programming? And what improvements or changes would you like to see in Lucas Park? And on the slide here shows some of the responses like would you like more program equipment, outdoor fitness, and I said e-bikes. That's not on there, but it should be on there. But that's a good yay for me for Rich City Rides. If you guys can get those e-bikes out there at the park. But yeah, and better lighting and we have a lot of responses. We had like 200, I can't see that, 258 responses total. And I will pass the mic over to Steph for more information. Other things.
Yeah, I was just gonna share our materials and our upcoming events for October. Really hard to see on there, but our flyers are here at the table. We have the Just Transition team is hosting a Clean Air Day event on October 4th, where we also invite you guys all to come out and show support. Moving forward, we'll be hosting a Muir Woods hike, and again, soccer, baseball continuing, as well as the bike repairs and Zumba.
Okay, and I mentioned earlier the redevelopment of Lucas Park. We are starting a steering committee. So the 2026 Lucas Park Steering Committee will be in effect soon. We have updates coming soon. If you guys want to get involved, anybody here, we have emails that you can email us to, but what's next, fall and beyond the master plan. So we're conducting the redevelopment for the master plan. Join the Lucas Park Steering Committee to help shape the 2026 redevelopment plans for a more environmentally friendly park. And we have stipends available, so if you want to help us out, that would be great. And more announcements.
And finally, this is our Save the Day Lucas Park Picnic and Play, just to celebrate all the work and efforts from our partners, just to have a wrap up of everything that's been happening and just a little celebration. And we would like to have informational booths there as well. So if you guys are interested, please reach out. There's our email, and hopefully we can work together in the future as well. And that's it. Any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, yeah, this is Lorena from Groundwork Richmond. I had a quick question.
Go ahead, Lorena.
Thank you. I was curious if the funding for the redevelopment of Lucas Park is coming from the TCC project?
No, it is already coming from UT Urban Tilth. So we are with Urban Tilth. I'm sorry. So Lucas Park is going to be adopted by Urban Tilth. That's why we're promoting it. But no, the funds is coming from Urban Tilth, and they already have the funds. And any other questions, or is anything you want to add, Steph?
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Para su comité que quieren para mejorar el Parque Lucas, ¿solo están pidiendo gente que viva en esa área o es a cualquier persona?
Estamos invitando a varias personas que apliquen y vamos a tener como...
Thomas is asking if you are only recruiting for the steering committee people who live in the area around the park, or if it's a different what group of people or anyone can join.
So we are conducting the people. We want people from the Lucas Park area.
I was just adding that, yeah, we welcome everybody to apply that's interested in getting involved. But yes, we would prefer to have people around, the Lucas Park area.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Don't see any hands raised, so thank you so much, Rashida and Steph. Are you ready? Last but not least, we have the low-income transportation options presentation. Eduardo put this together, and he did a lot of amazing work to share this share this with our community members. So feel free to share this presentation and this information with residents of the project area. This is available for a lot of people, more than just project area, but he will give you the details. Thank you, Eduardo, for working on this.
Hello. Thank you everyone for the warm welcome. I'm Eduardo, and if you don't know me or have seen me and just haven't come up to me, I'm an intern for the city of Richmond working on the Richmond Rising project. And yeah, I'm here presenting on low income transportation options, which includes programs, services, and other options for all, including public transit, services on demand, and paratransit and car share services. So first starting with Clipper Star program. This is a program that offers 50% off single ride fares on Bay Area Transit. However, the requirements are that you have to be a resident of the SF or Bay Area. You have to be in between 19 to 64 years old. Not have an RTC Clipper card for people with disabilities. This is something I'm going to get into in a bit. And you must have an income of 200% of the federal poverty level or less. I won't go too much into detail, but please grab a printout. They're here in the back if you want to learn more about like federal poverty thresholds and whatnot, and if you qualify. And to apply, you could scan this QR code with your phone, or you could visit the URL that I included here. Moving on, we have the youth/senior Clipper cards. This is a program for youth, senior riders, and riders with disability, and low and income qualified riders. Oh, sorry. And income qualified riders can receive reduced fares and access to discounted passes. Riders between the age of 5 and 18 or 65 and older can apply for a youth or senior Clipper card by mail, email, or fax, or you could get a card in person. As I mentioned, the only one requirement is that you have to be between the ages of 5 and 18 or 65 and older, and you must show ID. And to apply, you can find applications back here. Yeah, right here. However, they must be submitted by mail, email, or in person. Next on, we have the RTC Clipper card, which is something, which is something that I mentioned previously. This Clipper card is specifically for riders under the age of 65 with qualifying disabilities. And this card entitles you to a reduced fare on fixed route transit, rail, and ferry systems throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. And this is also another form of a Clipper card. And one of the requirements, honestly, the requirements vary, so please visit 511.org, which is the Clipper card website, to see which application you have to fill out. Moving on. With the focus more on disabilities, we have Our Transit. Our Transit is a program within the city manager's office that provides low-cost transportation services to seniors who are 55 and older and people with disabilities who reside in the city of Richmond and the unincorporated areas of East Richmond Heights, El Sobrante, Kensington, North Richmond, Hasford Heights, and Rollingwood. And as I just mentioned, requirements, you have to be either a resident of Richmond, North Richmond, El Sobrante, or Kensington, and applicants must be between the ages of 18 and 54. Oh, actually, applicants between the ages of 18 and 54 must show proof of disability. And to find the application, you could scan the QR code that I included, or you could follow the URL. Similar to the Our Transit, this is in addition to the Our Transit that was recently implemented. This is the Rapid program. It is a part of the Our Transit program. However, the Rapid program, sorry, there's so many. But Rapid provides a subsidy to use Lyft for on-demand trips in the cities of Richmond, El Cerrito, North Richmond, El Sobrante, Kensington, San Pablo, and Pinole. They expect to extend service from Contra Costa Regional Center and Veterans Hospital in Martinez. Some requirements is that you must have a smartphone, a credit/debit card, and a completed registration and waiver of liability form. Please scan the QR code that I included to find the application. Moving on, we have the East Bay Paratransit. And it's a public transit service for people who have a disability or health-related condition. The paratransit transports riders from their origin to their destination in vans equipped with a wheelchair lift. Some requirements is that you must have a disability or a health-related condition, and you must complete a written application and arrange for an in-person interview at their offices. Once again, please scan the QR code. Gosh. Sorry, a little sweaty. Moving on to our more like on-demand transportation options, we have Richmond Moves. Richmond Moves is an on-demand shuttle connecting transit hubs, and you could use this via your smartphone or calling. They operate between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Mondays through Fridays. This is free for students and seniors, but if you do not fall under those categories, it does cost $2. Requirements is you must have a smartphone and a credit/debit card. I think, yeah. Moving on to our car share programs, we have Mio Car, which is a car sharing program. Some requirements is that you must be 21 years of age, you must have a valid US driver's license, with a clean record, and you must have a valid debit, credit, or prepaid card. And to get started, you have to download the MioCard app or visit the website at miocard.org. Last but not least, we have our biking program that's here with our partner. Salma, do you want to take the mic? Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Salma. I am the community manager for the City of Richmond's electric bike share program. For those of you who do live within the project areas, you do qualify for a free $80 bike voucher that you can use with these bikes whenever, wherever, as long as you're riding within the City of Richmond. If you do not, however, live within these project areas, you can buy 4 kind of ride passes. We have our commuter pass, we have our monthly explorer pass, and if you're just looking to ride, just try the bikes out. It's a $1 unlock, and then after that, it's 20 cents a minute. So it's fairly affordable. It used to be like, I don't know, like 30 cents, 35 cents a minute. And so it was a little too expensive. So, we went ahead and reduced that, make that more accessible for everyone. If you have any more questions, comments, concerns, you can go ahead and reach out to me, Salma, at ridetoday.io. And yes, get to writing. They're fun. They're cute.
Thank you, Salma. And yeah, that's it for my presentation. Are there any questions?
Where can you get the Mio car? The Mio car? Where do you, is it?
It's an app. It is an app. You could just download it on your phone, or you can visit mio.org, miocard.org. Yeah, this is Richmond based. It's a Richmond based program. Sorry. Oh yes, sorry. They are available in Richmond. But yeah, you can find the cars all over. You have a question? Any other questions? Last chance.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thanks for putting this together. None of this is responsibility of the team, but we knew that community members had asked about this option, so we put this together. And actually, Eduardo went to review it with city staff who works in transportation. So now they wanted for them to do outreach in relationship to this. So I think it's a really good thing. Thank you, Eduardo, for working on that. And this is the last item on our meeting today. We know it's been a long meeting, but I just want to ask if there are any agenda requests for our next meeting. Is there anything that you would like to add that you haven't brought up for our next meeting in November? Don't see any hands raised, but we'll reach out to you anyway, and we'll send the agenda. And if you have anything in mind, please let us know. We will include it in our next meeting. And in terms of general announcements, this is a space for partners and members to share information. I know you already have shared information, but is there anything else that you would like to bring up in relationship to events? Just for as a reminder, we have all those flyers from partners and city staff and other organizations that are being shared right here. Anyone who wants to share information? Matthias is going to share something.
We sent an email out about it, but I wanted to remind everyone that next Thursday oh no, so many invites. Okay, let's see, here it is. At Neestrom Elementary School, we can give you the address if you want, it's on Harbor Way. There is a workshop on the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. There are some surveys, there's some flyers at the front, which include the survey, but also information about the event. For those of you who are unfamiliar, there was a Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center adjacent to Martin Luther King Jr. Park, but essentially it was in disrepair, and so it was torn down, and they are working to rebuild it, currently in the design phase. So a lot of community outreach as far as what kind of facilities people are interested in, et cetera. So if you're interested in contributing your perspectives to that project, you should attend the meeting next Thursday and/or fill out the survey.
Thanks, Matthias. Do we have any other community announcements? If there's no additional events, the meeting is adjourned. So thank you so much for participating today.